Hello everyone, my name is Ryan Cam, and I finally watched Only Yesterday. This was directed by Isao Takahata, and even though it was released in 1991, it didn't reach American shores until 2016. More on that in a second. But the English version has the voice talents of Daisy Ridley and Dev Patel, among others, and it tells the story of a young woman, and I'm going to try and say her name correctly. Her name is Taiko. That's as close as I'm gonna get. But anyway, it tells the story of a young woman named Taiko, voiced by Ridley, who is traveling to the Japanese countryside to spend some time with a friend of her family's. And while she is traveling, she begins to reminisce about her childhood, and it brings up good and bad memories. Now, I know all of you are probably thinking, how did this movie not get an American release until, years after the fact? Well, I'm going to try and describe this in about as good a way as I can because, well, it's kind of above my pay grade, so I'll just try and explain it as best I can. Basically, all of these Studio Ghibli movies are distributed by G-Kids, and when this movie was brought to G-Kids, there was a bit of a concern because G-Kids' CEO thought that this movie would be inappropriate for children because there is a storyline involving Taiko experiencing her first period. And there was some concern that it would be kind of too hot for American audiences. Again, I think I've made a long story very short or have explained it as concisely as I can. Now, I'm not going to turn this into a commentary video because when it comes to matters such as, puberty, I am well out of my pay grade when it comes to that. But as far as... what I will say is this. As far as not releasing a movie due to a certain subject matter revolving puberty, it just seems rather ridiculous to me because I, in my life, have seen far more darker stuff to come out of kids-related material. I mean, too much to mention, quite frankly. These have included death, mental illness, eating disorders, and I could go on and on and on. So when it comes to a girl experiencing her first period, that being the line that you don't cross, I don't know, that just seems weird to me. And I'm not turning into some kind of a feminist or anything like that. That's not my intention. My intention is that in media, both past and present, there have been much darker themes for all the world to see. And yet, something like that is a reason why a movie can't get an American release. I don't know, that just seems stupid to me. And now that I've actually seen this movie, I can safely say that the thing involving puberty doesn't really last all that long. It lasts maybe a third of the movie, and that's being kind of generous. And it's not like they go into explicit details about how that happens. They just say, oh, I'm on my period. And it's just very matter-of-factly, like this is a thing that happens. As it does. And this isn't meant to be a commentary. I'm not trying to say like, oh, G-Kids is wrong for doing this. I'm not saying that. Only Yesterday, it did eventually get an American release. It is out freely. You can buy it wherever you can find movies nowadays. But it's just a weird thing to happen. You know, it's weird, especially because Studio Ghibli is so beloved that it's just, I don't know. I don't know what to make of it, but it is what it is. I shall now descend from my kinda soapbox and talk about the rest of this movie. Because as far as I'm concerned, Only Yesterday is the weakest of these movies that I've watched. But please consider that the company that Only Yesterday keeps, including My Neighbor Totoro, Kiki's Delivery Service, Castle in the Sky, and that's literally just naming the ones that I've reviewed. Just by process of it being in rarefied air, Only Yesterday is kind of downgraded. But despite this being the weakest Ghibli movie that I've watched and now reviewed, it's still really good. I know this will not be a shocking announcement, but the animation is quite beautiful. Whether it's in Taiko's memories or if it's in the present time, it still is very beautiful to look at. There's a scene in the present time where Taiko is mashing these flowers into this dye to make shirts turn pink. And the flowers look beautiful. And there's another scene in the present where Taiko and the Dev Patel character are driving in the rain. And the rain looks so realistic, especially by early 90s standards. It's really, really good. And when you see Taiko's memories, it's even more beautiful. The animation in her memories reminds me a lot of oil paintings. There's a lot of smudged edges, especially off to the sides. And I really liked that effect. I thought it looked really, really good. And I'm not sure if this was the intent of these characters, but I think my problem with this movie is that Taiko's family is just really unlikable. Like, so unlikable at times. Taiko's mom says something about her, and I was literally sitting in that chair, and I was just sitting there like, yeah, love you too, Mom. Like, what the heck? And the dad starts out kind of cool, but by the end, he just kind of turns cold-hearted. It just, I don't know, I don't want to go into spoilers, but there is just some times where it's just like, Taiko, just like, run away from home. Like, you could do so much better. Again, I think that was kind of the point of the story, but and I respect that. But her family is just so unlikable at points that I just was like, who are you people? But at the end of the day, this is still an above-average animated film. However, it's above average when compared to other animated films. It's below average when you compare it to the rest of Ghibli. Here's a bit of a weird comparison. Let's just say Kiki's Delivery Service, my favorite Ghibli film that I've watched so far, is like Michael Phelps, and Only Yesterday is like Ryan Lochte. They're both great swimmers, but Michael Phelps is Michael Phelps. He's won the most Olympic medals of all time, and Ryan Lochte has won a lot of medals as well, but primarily in like relay stuff. Michael Phelps is here, and Ryan Lochte is like right here. Same thing with Ghibli, Kiki's Delivery Service, Only Yesterday. But I'm not trying to be, like, cold-hearted. This is still a very well-made movie. However, just in terms of the company that it keeps, Only Yesterday is kind of lesser. But I'm sure you all have seen Only Yesterday, so if you have seen it, what did you think about it? Leave your thoughts in the comments down below. It'll be interesting to see what you all have to say about this. And then in 2 Sundays from now, March 21st, I'll be giving my first reaction to the next Studio Ghibli film called Porco Rosso. But next Sunday, the 14th, I'll be doing a deep dive into one of my favorite comedies of all time, The Big Lebowski. But if you like this video, please be sure to leave a like, comment your thoughts down below, and if you like this video and you want to see more like it, hit the subscribe button and click the bell to allow notifications. That way when a new video drops, you'll be the first to know about it. My name is Ryan Cam. I'll see you in the next one.